How many bad seeds do you have that are going to slow down this seed opening? They're like airplanes that go out from the terminal and they haven't taken off yet and they're waiting in line on the runway. How many bad seeds are waiting in line on the runway in front of the 20% bump seed we just taught you to plant?
Right.
And they're going to block the takeoff of your 20% income bump. Right. We got these old bad seeds that I made before I heard about the seed system.
Right.
Oh, they're going to ask you, is there a way you could just cancel these flights? Could they come back to the terminal without taking off? What's the answer? Because then things are going to go fast. And there's good news. There's actually an ancient book that's called The Four Powers for canceling these old flights, for removing old bad seeds that are waiting in line and slowing down your good seed. Maybe you remember the exact seed you planted in the past. You know, someone asked you for help, financial help, and you said, no, I'm not going to give it to you, you know. So that would be a bad seed, okay? So maybe you remember the bad seed, but maybe you don't remember the bad seed, but your seeds aren't opening very fast. Then you use your logic, you know. Oh, I must have in the past, I don't remember where, I don't remember when, but I have a blocker seed. I have a seed that's slowing me down. Then it must have something to do with seeds, with having planted some bad seeds in the past. So the first of the four powers for wiping out your old bad seeds is called, just think about the pen. The first of the four steps for stopping an old bad seed is just sit down with a pen in a quiet moment. You know, I don't know, for me it was on my bus commute back home after work, and just look at the pen. And just think about it, you know, think about the dog. We got the picture here for you. You know, think about how the dog sees it one way, the human sees it a different way. They're both right. That proves that this pen is coming from me. So just think about the power of seeds. If you let that bad seed go, we know now from the four kinds of flowers, right? You're going to have all this stuff's going to happen, all this negative stuff's going to happen. If there's a way to cancel your old bad seeds, I got to do it because of the pen. And then the second power, traditionally, is we got to get some kind of urgency about this thing. You know, we got to get some kind of understanding, some kind of power in our mind that says, you have to wipe this seed out now. You have to do it right now. And why is the next picture here, which is very dear to me. My first teacher used to say to me, get your people out of the kitchen. And I'd say, well, what do you mean? And this is a Tibetan teacher, and he'd say, well, we got roaches in the kitchen, so tell your people, you know, Michael Roach, get your people out of the kitchen. So this is one of my subjects.
Oh, man.
This is a picture of one roach. Now, why we have him here for power number 2, we had Seiji, our colleague, just this morning. He looked it up for us. One mama roach will make 20,000 roaches in her short life. And the point is this: if you see one roach in your kitchen, do something now. And that's the second power. Act now. If you know you had a bad seed, let's say you went out of control, you yelled at your wife this morning. Kill that seed today because of the roach principle. Okay, right. Principle number 2, if you see a roach in your kitchen, do something. You know, in our tradition, you would try to take it outside. Now, in the mind, how long does it take since the seeds double in power every 24 hours? And by the way, we're showing you a bunch of roaches here. That's the 20,000 roaches that one mama roach is going to have in your kitchen. How long does it take for a negative seed in your mind to reach 20,000? Yeah, the math is 14 and a half days. Okay, so if you know you have a negative seed in your mind, the second principle, the second power is act now, act with urgency. You got to do something because by tomorrow, that's going to double. Because if I delay, if I wait another day, this thing's just going to multiply. So act now. What's the third principle? We got this guy looking in the mirror, Scott. What does that mean exactly? I'd like to take the example of someone who's been cheating on their taxes, okay? And many, many people do it. We even hear big people in big positions say, oh yeah, you know, I manipulated my taxes and I didn't pay all my taxes this year, and I'm going to get away with it. You can't get away with anything. And we say in the privacy of your own room at home, you can do bad stuff, and if nobody finds out, you're clear. But in this system, no, the minute you hear yourself thinking something, you already planted it. So here, step number 3 is, and by the way, if you had to choose the most powerful of the 4 powers, the powerful power is number 3. And in the ancient tradition, they say, look, if you don't have time to go through the pan and the cockroaches and everything else, just remember number 3. Number 3 is to make a commitment, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and say, I make a commitment, I will not cheat on my taxes. Now, a question for you. When you do something wrong, when you make a mistake in your life, oftentimes it's from some kind of compulsion. You have an alcohol problem, or you have an anger problem, or something like that. So is it going to work as a power number 3 to go look in the mirror and say, I promise I will never get angry at my wife again, or I promise I will never take another drink in my whole life? Is it likely that you will keep it? Yeah, like jealousy. I've had jealousy my whole life. Right. And it would just be foolish for me to make a promise of people I'm jealous of, to say I will never feel jealousy again. Because jealousy comes up so fast. Right. It comes up in a millisecond. But what you can do, and what the tradition says, is choose a time limit. Okay, so in this case, the guy's looking in the mirror. The reason he looks so serious is he's thinking about the cockroaches that are going to grow from this one bad seed. He's like, I got to put a stop to this now. The main thing that stops a bad seed is to make a commitment to yourself not to do it again. 3 days, you can focus. You can watch your mind 3 days. So 3 days is a nice thing to set a limit. Now, there's kind of a 4th step we have to hear, 4th power, and what's that called? If you think about it, power number 3 is a negative commitment. I will not do that again for 3 days. And by the way, that's the real antidote to the bad seed. That takes away the power of the bad seed. But if you want to speed things up, you want to make this a clean cleaning, then you should do a positive thing. So power number 4 is a commitment to do a positive thing that balances the power, that balances the seeds. So what would you do in the case of cheating on your tax? You are taking money away in the United States from 350 million other people.
Exactly right.
And make a commitment to a charity and do it to kind of balance the scales, okay? So rather than the negative promise in number 3, I promise not to do that for 3 more days. Now you're going to make a positive commitment to balance the power. So I promise that I will do charity. Now, famous question comes up here at the end of the 4 powers. And I remember asking my teacher this question: how do I know when the bad seed is gone? Right. How do I know when the bad seed is gone? And what are the signs? And there are 2 famous signs that you will get. This honesty, this feeling of honesty, when you admit that you made a mistake, is a liberating experience. And you just feel light and happy and healthy and clean, and there's nothing like it. So when you finish the 4 powers, and you suddenly, 2 days later, you feel this intense feeling of relief and lightness and some kind of happiness, sudden joy in your life, that's one of the signs that this old bad seed has been overcome. Now, the second sign that the old bad seed has been overcome is kind of if the laws of seeds that we talked about are true. If this 4th law of seeds is true, if it's true that everything you do must have come back to you, if there's a justice to the entire universe, which is if there is, oh my gosh, it's so comforting that this universe makes sense. That if I hurt someone, something will hurt me. If I help someone, something will help me. What the 4 powers do is they make the seed open too early. Like if I take a watermelon seed and I put it here on this table and I put water on the seed on the table, I can actually get it to germinate. It will crack open, a small sprout will come out, but because there's no conditions for it to grow, there's no soil, that sprout will quickly die. So the idea is the 4 powers actually act to cause, they don't destroy the negative seed because you can't do that according to the 4th law of seeds. But they make a premature baby. They cause the seed to open too early, and the premature baby came out too early. It was born too young. I think 26 weeks is it came out after 15 weeks. The seed opened too early, the bad seed, and you lost your wallet, but then you're not going to be bankrupt. And now, what's cool is the new 20% bump seed that we teach you to plant in the 20% bump thread, and you're going to get a result within a couple weeks. I want to say, this is something we developed in the DCI talks. If you go around the world speaking to 35,000 people a year, you're going to come up with some cool new stuff just because you're talking about it every day. And we came up with this thing called the 2 husbands in the kitchen, and it really ties together all the ideas of the seed system in one simple demonstration, and we're going to give it to you as a free segment number 7.
Wow.